The clearest way you can show that you have great customer experience is by having great employee experience. It's something that you can't fake your way through. You can't fake your way through a disengaged workforce because it shows every time. They're going to know.
Yep. 100%. Two questions. Question number
Mhm.
one, can you think of a brand that you felt that great customer experience and you knowing where that comes from that you can probably associate back to the employee experience? That's question number one. And then
Yep.
question number two for you is, do you think these should be different roles? Like, is customer experience also in charge of employee experience? Should it be a human experience role? What do you think? So answer whichever one you want first.
Okay. So the first one I'll answer about a company, a career coach, actually, that I found in the CX Accelerator Slack channel, talked about picking your five top companies that you want to work for because of what you know about them. It doesn't matter if there's a job available or not. And the first one that came to my mind was one has been in the back of my mind forever.
You asking CX, they answer back. Real CX leaders giving real feedback. Heard in CX.
Welcome back to the final episode of Debbie Szumylo in Heard in CX. She has seen customer experience inside for 2 decades and lately from the outside as a candidate. Her conviction that you can't have customer experience without employee experience. And as she put it recently, true culture isn't what's written on the website, is how people protect and value each other in the quiet, everyday moments. We're getting into all of that. But first, we're going to do a last mini game, my favorite. This one's called Culture or Cult. I describe a company perk or policy, and you call it culture or cult. No middle ground. All right, here we go. Culture or cult. Mandatory fun Fridays.
Cult.
Unlimited PTO that nobody actually takes.
Cult.
We work hard and play hard.
Cult.
Beer on tap in the office.
Oh my gosh. Cult.
And then last but not least, the CEO calls everyone fam.
Oh my gosh. Cult. Cult.
We might have caught Debbie also traumatized from her hiring processes. So let's also put that out there. And I did intentionally make this very cultish. Thank you for playing along, Debbie.
Of course.
Okay, let's move on to your icebreaker.
All right.
So, Debbie, you
Yep.
believe that you can't have customer experience without employee experience. That one shows through without the other. When did that click for you?
I think I realized it a long time ago. What I realized was that companies have so little room for error. I think that things can be forgiven by customers if you provide that great experience. There's a lot more leeway, but if, let's say, somebody calls your company or walks into your business for the first time, and if the person they interact with is rude, disrespectful, or just checked out, that's likely the only chance that that customer will ever give them.
True.
And I think that changes every day. There's too much competition. There's so many alternatives, and you're never going to get a second impression. So I do think, though, that the good news about that is it's fixable. And it's fixable by implementing a really solid employee experience. And so when you treat your teams with respect and fairness, it's just like everything else. They carry that forward and they then treat the customers in that way. If employees feel supported by their leadership, I think that the customers feel that too. But sometimes the customers don't even understand why they feel so good interacting with employees of a company. And I think that's when the nice to have of EX started to run parallel to CX. The clearest way you can show that you have great customer experience is by having great employee experience. It's something that you can't fake your way through. You can't fake your way through a disengaged workforce because it shows every time. They're going to know.
Yep. 100%. Two questions. Question number
Mhm.
one, can you think of a brand that you felt that great customer experience and you knowing where that comes from that you can probably associate back to the employee experience? That's question number one. And then
Yep.
question number two for you is, do you think these should be different roles? Like, is customer experience also in charge of employee experience? Should it be a human experience role? What do you think? So answer whichever one you want first.
Okay. So the first one I'll answer about a company, a career coach, actually, that I found in the CX Accelerator Slack channel, talked about picking your five top companies that you want to work for because of what you know about them.
Mm.
It doesn't matter if there's a job available or not. And the first one that came to my mind was one that's been in the back of my mind forever. So I would love to work for Chewy.
Oh my
Chewy
God, I
gets
love
it.
Chewy.
Chewy gets it. Chewy's employees are outstanding. I've had many animals over the year. I foster animals. I have my Chewy shipment every week. I've had animals pass away. They've sent flowers. They talk to me on the phone about things. I mean, I can't say enough about the culture and the experience they've created there for their employees. It directly, I mean, I can't stop bragging about them. If I see a post from somebody on LinkedIn about Chewy, I'm like, oh my gosh, when they did this and they did this, I couldn't believe it. It's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
But they immediately come to mind as somebody who's figured it out.
This is awesome because it clearly shows that pipeline between employee experience, creating an incredible customer experience, which then goes on to create raving fans, right? And that will
Absolutely.
talk about your brand and will market your brand constantly without ever needing anything other than to come back for that continuous experience. Another one that stands out to me is like Chick-fil-A. People love Chick-fil-A because of their incredible in-person experience. So there's just so many.
And you can also identify the reverse pretty easily too. So for a long time, I think we all believed that had a great employee experience because their customer service is pretty darn good. But as they've progressed through the years, we hear more and more grumblings from internal folks on how inflexible and how smothering it is to work there. And then we see their owner making some interesting ethical decisions that reflects on everybody that works there. And if they had it, they had it briefly, but they don't have that anymore. It can totally go the other way when you don't put your employees at the front of what you do, and then your customers right there alongside them after you've developed that employee piece. And I do think that they now would not be someone a lot of people call to mind.
That's true. Yeah, and especially not only after everything that has come out, but I think if we had access to their internal numbers, we would probably see that their turnover is
it's tremendous. Yep. Absolutely.
I want to ask you to end this incredible run of 3 episodes that you've had here in Herd and CX. I want to ask you one final question from this accelerator community. And actually, we have 2 questions. We'll take them as a pair.
Okay.
Keith Kemet, he's the principal executive advisor at They Do. He asks, with all the talk about showing the value of CX, has showing the value of EX had the same challenges, or does EX actually help show the value of CX?
Yep. I would say EX runs into the same proof point problems that customer experience does. It's still really hard to draw a clean line from we improve the employee experience to numbers that a CFO will be interested in and want to hear about. But I'd actually flip it a little bit. I'd flip the framing of that. Just as Keith said, I would say that EX doesn't just share CX's challenge, it helps solve it. So engaged employees, consistently produce better customer outcomes because it's one of the clearest ways to make that business case for CX in the first place, I believe. If you're struggling to figure out how to put a story about the benefit around customer experience, I think you have to look at what's happening with the employee side. That's usually an equation or a variable that's not part of the equation that you haven't thought through. But I do think that gives us answers and helps us solve the customer piece of that.
Me and Yujit have been putting together a guide that we're going to drop called the CFO's Guide to Customer Experience Investments, and vice versa, the Customer Experience Leader's Guide to selling an AI or a customer experience investment to your CFO. And in it, we touch a little bit on how it's almost a language problem, like a translation problem, where the data and the source of all this information is already there in the contact center, right? The contact center is an incredible source of all the information when it comes to what your customers want, why they're leaving. So you've got all these stats, but then when you actually want to translate to a CFO, they don't care about those particular metrics or stats, right? They care about different things. So it's almost like that translation problem. And so I do encourage anyone watching this, like, we will be releasing that guide. If you are struggling to translate to a language that the people making these budget decisions in that room, the language that they care about. I had Jeremy Hyde a couple of episodes back, and he is really into this kind of stuff, into how to translate the data and the language that you're getting from the contact center to the higher ups, the C-suite. So that's also, I'll drop that link below too. Let's tackle the very last question from Szumylo Claude, and he's a senior manager of B2B contact center operations. And he asks, what's the most effective lever to pull when making meaningful change to employee experience? Is it communication, clarity of expectations, something else? A couple examples would be great.
I think people talk about communication a lot, thinking that's really what it is. But I don't think that's the actual lever itself. I think the lever is more around clarity. What's expected of me? Clear expectation, clear purpose. What am I supposed to be doing and where's the end game? And then also, I think one that's really important is clear decision, right? So communication only works if it's backed by a system that makes people feel like they can actually do the right thing for the customer. You know, you can have beautiful values and beautiful things on the wall or whatever, but it's a broken experience if people don't understand what's expected of them and who gets to make the decisions, what kind of role they have in decision making. So I think, as an example, in the law firm that I worked at, we had an analyst team, and they used to work off this super complicated, I don't even know what it was, some sort of software that we created. It was super complicated and confusing. And we switched that over to like a simple playbook. So they could go through it. It was fast, it was reliable. The knowledge was there. Before they'd guess, they get frustrated, or their customer would get frustrated, and they kind of guess what the answer would be. They now had clear escalation paths, so nobody was stuck improvising when something failed or they couldn't find it. So they needed that clarity to be able to understand how to create that better experience, and they needed those tools. And one of my favorite examples that's been around forever, and you've heard of the Ritz-Carlton before.
Yes.
So they have a classic example of exactly what I'm talking about. Every single employee, regardless of their role or level in the company, is empowered to spend up to $2,000 per guest per incident to resolve a problem, to make it right, without manager approval. This is real and true. And this has been, I first learned about this probably 16, 17 years ago. They still do it. So instead of saying, use your judgment, we can make things right, but use your judgment, this is giving them a clear number, a clear scope per guest per incident, and clear decision rights. They own it. They make the call. Their manager, the CEO, nobody else has to make this call but them. So that's the 3 C's, the clarity piece, I should say, that I really like about this. But ambiguity is kind of, to me, what kills employee experience. If the system creates gateways you have to get through, it's not working. So if an employee facing a guest complaint doesn't need better communication about the value of great service, they already know this. What they need to know is what they're allowed to do about it. And I think that to me is the lever that flips for employee experience. I know what I can do.
So you mentioned 2 other C's. Can we know the 2 other?
It's clarity, but the clarity piece has 3 pieces: clear expectations, clear purpose, and clear decision rights. Those are the 3 pieces of the clarity.
Well, those are your 3 C's.
Those are my 3 C's.
Just to kind of wrap everything up, it sounds like the main levers, right, is yes, clarity, but also like standing out of the rep's way, right? Whether it's via tools and processes, like who you hired. Ideally you have a strong hiring process, and so this person is able. So how do you get out of their way? Whether it's through implementing good processes, whether it's through implementing better tools. A stat that we hate to hear, but it's so true, is that customer service agents often use like 4 to 10 tools or tabs per interaction. We've sat in contact center floors and we've seen to simply resolve a billing dispute or to resolve something simple, they have to click on the billing system, then they have to click on the CRM, then they have to click like 17 things, right? So what are ways that we can consolidate all of that? What are ways that we can give, agents either the AI tools or simply, like you're saying, clear process, clear clarity? How can we give them
clear clarity? Yeah. And the big point about that is let your people help design the processes they use. They don't know it any better. I mean, they're the ones that know it. And the same thing with your customers. Invite your customers in to design what they have to work with. I mean, why should this high level person be designing something that he or she or they are never going to touch?
Yes, no,
Pull your people in to do the design.
and you know, it falls too into, I hear a lot of people, and I think this is a very valid argument. No one come for me. But I hear a lot of people saying customer experience is not customer service. Like, these are two distinct fields. But I heard you mention something last episode that I thought was, you know, on point, where customer service is the front line of customer experience. Like, I know it's not the same thing, but they are intrinsically part of it. They are
definitely a part of it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So allowing them, like you're saying, to be a pivotal part of designing these processes is incredible. I think we could talk so long about this. Unfortunately, we are at the end of the episode, but now you might be the first guest to come back because I still have so many questions to ask you. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everyone, go follow Debbie, follow along, bring your questions to the CX Accelerator community. And that is Heard in CX. And until next time, guys. Bye.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Heard in CX, come ask away. We got CX leaders talking real day.